Hello and welcome to another card series from Life of Crafting. This is Kristen, and it is the end of September, and Tim Holtz is ready to have his release for the Christmas of 2022. And I'm thinking to myself, Kristen, stop shopping. You had stuff that you liked from 2021 and you haven't done a thing with it. So that led me to get out those things I've bought, the things that inspired me, and start making cards. So this was a release from that series from Emma Williams. I love, love, love her stuff. This card is going to be inspired using this hoop. I guess it was an ornament that she had released. And in dissecting this, I looked at this and said, you know, this is going to be pretty easy. It'll be gold splatters on a black background. And then I had to start looking at what components she had in there. And the flowers were from this Festive bouquet from the release. And I can tell that she just used like extra leaves in that. To use some of the evergreens from there, and then just some of these like little pine boughs. And I have things like that. Oh wait, it is part of the die. So it's just all the evergreens from here. So that's great. I won't have to pull in anything else from that. Then it took me a bit to figure out what she used for the candle lantern, and that was a release from the Halloween of 2021, and it was Candlelight. It looks to me like this may have been some distressed foils that were on top of here, or maybe she used some of the crayon on top of a cardstock, but I'm going to try to emulate that as much as I can. And then it looks like just regular cardstocks layered in there and just some inks to color. Both seem to have a just a glittered, like with mica snow effect. And again, I love, love, love Tim Holtz, but I don't have to make this just by having Tim Holtz products. So I will be bringing in probably whatever I have on hand that's mica snow. Whatever I have on hand that's the, she's got some gold centers here, so we'll see what we're going to do for those. I probably have some big pearls that are things I want to get out of the stash. And then the last thing she used was this big gold foiled sentiment of Christmas, and that was in the Vault of 2021 release. And I like the Christmas. The only thing I'm kind of wondering is like I maybe it's just me and my like OCD-ness or something. I feel like it still needs Mary. So I have plenty of things I can bring in there. I'm thinking I may just bring in like a block lettering and put that in. And like I said, I'm going to make this into a card. I think that I'm going to look. I did get a lot of stuff out of the Hobby Lobby clearance that went on here in the late summer season. It was kind of like through the month of August that Hobby Lobby did on all of their envelopes, their card bases and cards with envelope. So I'm going to see. I may have gotten some black. I don't know, but I know I have some 5x7 and I'm going to pull them out and use them for this. I tend to go and I make like way more than my attention span stays with it. So I think I'm going to try to limit myself to maybe 4 of these. We'll see how that goes. So I'm going to get a concept card together and what's this fly? And I'll be back. See ya. All right, so I'm getting started, and the only thing I can figure out, the only black I had was A2 size, and I don't want to do this too small. I did have this pack of ivory A7, so we're going to use some of these. And then I have in my stash some black cardstock that I did gold splatters on a while ago. I have 4 sheets of this. So that's going to give me my cards right there. So with that's a good start, and it's getting stuff out of the stash. Thank you, Jesus. So now I will get a card together and I'll be back. I just realized this is just envelopes. I'm so silly. So I'm going to be going back over to my stash and saying, I know I had craft 5x7 cardstock bases ready, and I don't want that. So we'll see what we're going to wind up with. So this is my first colorize die from Tim Holtz. And I've watched his videos, and I know he does them in a series, and he has them marked on the back what color and what number in the series they are. So this will be like 1 and then 2 builds on top of 1 and then 3 builds on top of 2 that's on top of 1. So he's calling it gray. Like I said, she's kind of gotten it very distinct and aged. I think I'm going to go do, I just did a card where I did StazOn on foil, and it really does like tarnish the look of metal, and I liked that look. I did lay out everything just so I could kind of get a feel, and I really have no idea, I have no plan to use the candlesticks. My way of storing his stuff was I take his folder and I put it inside one of these heavier duty clear ones with cardstock in there, and I'm finding I'm going to leave it like that because I like seeing his graphics, and I like the idea that there's going to be 2 things to make sure that these small dies, like the flames in this, don't come out. They do come in this like acetate envelope, but truthfully I think that's just too much trying to figure out like where the glue is to open the bag. So I think that's going to be my storage. Typically I like to use a layer of whatchamacallit in there, a magnetic sheet, but I don't know that I'm going to go that route right now. So having laid all this out, I know what I need, and I'm going to need this for the lantern. It says a base. I don't necessarily need a base, but I'm still going to make the base. Let me throw this out. Because I think that's going to at least give me the stability and show me how to put these together. After making that first one, you know, I may realize I really don't need it and not, but I am. And then the candles are together, so I really can't not do something with them. But I'll put it in I'll put it back in here because, you know, down the road, maybe I will make something with a candlestick in it, and I already have a die cut out. So these are going away, and then the other one is the flames, and he's saying yellow, so that's going to give me 2 different colors of yellow. I was debating about doing something with Copic markers. I'm new to coloring. I thought, well, maybe this would be a good idea, but I think I'm going to just do it with cardstock, and then I may do some Copic coloring on the cardstock, so we'll see. I'll be back. It's Kristen, I'm back. I'm ready to move on to a new series. This was a lot more die cutting and thinking than I thought I was going to have to do. Surprising to me. So in dissecting this, I used this to scribble on, and I apologize. I used the 5x7, and it's a good thing I did because this was much more. She must have really used a big hoop in this. I really didn't do much research. I just printed this up. But anyway, I was going to do 4. I wound up just doing the 1, and I'm kind of just happy to leave it there. I do have other things prepped, and I'll probably do more later, but I just not feeling it right now. Do you remember those days where it's like, okay, enough? A lot of die cutting. So the dies again that I used was the Tim Holtz Vault 2021, the Candlelight from his Halloween series, and the Festive Bouquet. I die cut out the elements of the lantern. I did use the StazOn black on there. There is 3 different layers to this. I probably could have done maybe some different shading to make it darker on some of the pieces than others, but I just rolled with it. I just wanted to get it together and kind of play with it to see what it was going to be like. The candle on the white, especially for the part that was dripping down, I used Antique Linen Distress ink because I wanted it to have a little bit different differentiation between the 2. The flame, I did use a couple different Copic markers on white because I didn't want it to just be all one color. I wanted it to have oranges and yellows in with it, and I did use my Wink of Stella on there to give it a little bit of iridescent glimmer to it. So that was putting together the lantern. Then the Christmas I cut out of, I've shown this before. I buy this brushed gold poster board from Hobby Lobby, and I love because it's not that bright foil. It gives you the gold, but it's not like overpowering. Sometimes I think foil, especially with this being the silver foil, would have started to compete. So I liked this, and it went good with the backgrounds I already had, because this is just like a metallic paint I had flicked on here. So I thought that picked up the gold in the background very, very well. So this was much larger. I mean, this has got to be like 2.5 inches here. So yes, much, much larger than I expected. And then I had to really fool around with trying to get everything in here, because, you know, this piece has the height and I didn't want to take over too much of the wording. I did want to see about putting a Mary, like a small Mary, and like stick it in there, but it was very distracting. And I said, you know what, I'm just leaving it the way she had it, because I do really like the design. All of these different components, like the evergreen bough is its own die. That was the only one that was a die by itself. Then the berries had the main part of it, the base. There's a stick to it, and then every one of these berries, I just did them all in the gold. So there was, like I said, 3 components to that. There's in this lighter green here, just like a regular leaf. There's the back base to that, and then like another 3. Each leaf has a section to add to it. The holly leaves that I did in here, you have the main base and then the 3 different pieces to add on there. And you know, I'm kind of brushing on color to each one of these. I just took an assortment of different red inks to try on the red paper. I wound up going with the oxides because I felt like it toned down the red a little bit. I had this more brighter red paper. And then I had to have this sit for a little bit because I didn't have something gold for the centers the way I liked it. And I did find from Hobby Lobby that they have the metal pearls. There's only 2 sizes, unfortunately. I would have liked probably one in between to use on the smaller. Oh, going back to these poinsettias, I had to cut like 1 base. Actually, this one has 2 of each layer on it, and these have 2. There's only 1 base layer, and then there's like added sections to put on each leaf. Because I had to make them more full, I had to put one down and then slightly twist the second one to put it on there to give it a more full flower look. If you look on the packaging, how much you know, less full it looks. So I did have to do a couple of them because I was trying to follow her design a little bit more closely. So there's where I say it was a lot of different lot of different die cutting and piecing in, and it's great for doing, like I said, the one card. I don't want to burn myself out right now. And then I did have to, I have like a canister of just all the different glitters that I, you know, like I'll use a glitter, and then if I have leftovers and I can't remember where it goes, I have just like one bin for all of it. So this is what it was. It's just all a mixture of different glitters to put on here. It's not quite dry, but I do need to get this off my table because I want to move on to another project. And I'll take a picture of the finished card when it's all clear. Some of my glitter in here is white, so it is going to not completely turn to how she has it, where it's, you know, little bits of iridescent. She doesn't have it where it's a lot of adding color to it. And like I said, I do kind of like hers where the centers is like one bigger size, but this was just all I could find. So that is my version of Emma Williams' release from 2021's Christmas collection. I hope I did a good enough job with it. I do not like these were the pre-made card bases and they're rather thin, so I do intend to use this for myself for my Christmas, and I'm going to add layers of paper on the inside of this with my sentiment so that it has some more bulk weight to it. So I hope you liked how this came out. Appreciate some thumbs up if you did. Subscribe down below. I have a lot of stuff coming. I'm expecting that things are going to be a little crazy and hectic around here, so I am trying to bulk up and get things made and scheduled for the next several months. So appreciate if you subscribe down below and get to check all them out when they come out. So have a great night. See ya.